My fiancée handed me a prenup that left me with nothing. When I refused, she tried to ruin my life. Now, I'm picking up the pieces of her lies. I'm 32 male and thought I had my life on track. I've worked hard, got a decent job, a place I could call my own, and I was engaged. For 3 years, I thought I was building something solid with my fiancée. Let's call her Kay. She was smart, beautiful, and for a long time, I thought we wanted the same things. Marriage, kids, the whole 9 yards. Everything was going smoothly until she brought up the prenup. Now, let me be clear. I'm not against prenups. I understand wanting to protect yourself, but the way she brought it up was weird. It wasn't a conversation. It was like a demand. She didn't ask what I thought or how I felt about it. She just told me we needed one. Fine, whatever. I'm not a millionaire, but I've got some savings, my investments, and my apartment that I rent out. If a prenup was meant to protect us both, no big deal, right? Well, she handed me the draft, and holy shit, it was like reading something a shark lawyer would cook up for a millionaire to screw their spouse. It wasn't a prenup. It was a damn land grab. I read through it slowly, my stomach sinking deeper with each sentence. If we got divorced, she'd take my apartment, get half of my savings, and even wanted a cut of my investments. She'd walk away with pretty much everything, and I'd be left with scraps. Meanwhile, she'd keep all her stuff. The kicker? If I had any debt, it was all mine to deal with. Convenient for her, right? I tried to process it. I wanted to believe this was just some misunderstanding. So, I asked her, okay, what is this? This isn't fair. She didn't even blink. What do you mean? It's for both of us. I stared at her. Both of us? You're kidding, right? You get everything if we break up, and I'm left with nothing. How is this protecting us? She sighed like I was a child who didn't get the point. It's standard. My lawyer said it's what's best for us. Best for you, I shot back. This is insane. Her face hardened, and she crossed her arms. If you don't sign it, we're not getting married. I'm not going through with this without protecting myself. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So, it's that easy for you? You're just going to walk if I don't sign this? She shrugged like it was no big deal. I'm not putting myself at risk. I thought you'd understand that. I sat there for a second, trying to calm myself down, trying to make sense of what she was saying. But all I could hear in my head was this voice screaming. She doesn't give a damn about you. You're blackmailing me, Kay. This isn't protecting us. This is you trying to make sure you come out on top, no matter what. Her tone was ice cold. I'm doing what's smart. If you don't want to sign, maybe we're not meant to be together. I couldn't believe how casually she was throwing this ultimatum at me. 3 years together, and now it was all about money? Like the whole relationship boiled down to this paper? I was pissed. Hurt. But most of all, I was done. You know what? I said, standing up, you're right. We shouldn't get married. For the first time, I saw a flicker of shock in her eyes. Wait, what? I'm not signing it, and I'm not marrying you. If this is what you care about more than anything else, then we're done. Her expression turned to anger. You're being ridiculous. You're seriously going to throw everything away over a prenup? No, you are, I said, voice steady. You're the one who turned this into a business deal instead of a marriage. I walked out of the room, leaving her there, stunned and furious. But as soon as the door closed behind me, I knew it wasn't over. I didn't hear from her for a few days, but I started hearing things from our mutual friends. Apparently, she was already on a mission to make me look like the villain. According to her, I was some greedy bastard who refused to share my assets. She painted herself as this poor woman who just wanted to protect herself, and me as the selfish jerk who left her because I didn't want to commit. I didn't think much of it at first, figured people would see through her bullshit, but it got worse. People I thought I could count on started distancing themselves. Friends stopped responding to texts. I was hearing whispers about how I'd used her and bailed when it came to serious commitment. I was floored. The lies she was spreading were insane. One night, I got a call from my cousin, who heard through the grapevine that I stole money from Kay, that I'd taken advantage of her financially and dumped her when she tried to be responsible. I lost it. I called Kay the next day. She didn't pick up, so I texted her, "We need to talk." Now, she called me back a few hours later. Commas anything. What's the problem? She asked like she had no idea. The problem? I snapped. You're out there telling people I left you because I didn't want to share my money. Are you serious? She didn't even try to deny it. Well, you did. You didn't want to sign the prenup because you're selfish. People should know the truth. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The truth? The truth is you tried to screw me over with that prenup, and when I said no, you tried to blackmail me into it. Now you're spreading lies because you didn't get your way? Her tone was so smug, so confident when she said, I didn't lie. You didn't sign it, did you? You couldn't commit. That's what I told people. My blood was boiling. You twisted the entire story. You're making me look like some greedy asshole when you're the one who tried to take everything. There was a pause, and then she said something that sent chills down my spine. Well, that's how I see it. If people want to believe you're the bad guy, that's their choice. I hung up. I couldn't deal with her anymore. I wasn't going to get through to her, and she clearly didn't care. She was hell-bent on making sure she looked like the victim, no matter what. So I did the only thing I could. I started telling people the real story. I showed a couple of close friends the prenup, explained what had actually happened. It took time, but slowly, the tide turned. People realized that she wasn't the innocent, heartbroken fiancée she was pretending to be. She was a manipulative, entitled person who tried to milk me dry and then went on a smear campaign when I refused to play alone. But even after I cleared my name with most people, the damage was already done. Some friends never came back. Some people still believe her lies, and honestly, I've just accepted it at this point. People are going to believe what they want to believe. Months later, I'm still picking up the pieces. I dodged a bullet, but it left a mess behind. Sometimes I still can't believe how it all went down. How fast it escalated. How someone I loved could flip a switch and become someone I didn't even recognize. Looking back, I can see the red flags. Like the way she was obsessed with knowing how much I had in savings, what my investments were worth. Or how she constantly pushed for us to live above our means. Even though I didn't feel comfortable spending money like that. I thought it was normal relationship stuff. Turns out, it was just the beginning of something much worse. But I learned my lesson. Trust your gut. If someone tries to push you into something that feels wrong, don't do it. People like that don't care about you. They only care about what you can give them. So yeah, that's my story. And if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, take my advice. Run. Trust me, no amount of love is worth getting screwed over.